example that we had at rebahealth.com, and we're a web application, and we've always had a fairly kind of unusual interface. In fact, I think we're the only people in the world with this sort of interface, in that we list search results down the left-hand side of the page here, and when you click on one, it dynamically displays the information on the right-hand side of the page. We never really liked the idea of doing this. We did it for good reasons, but after we did it, we kind of said, we're the only people in the world to be doing this, and that's not a good position to be in, because there's no one to copy. We have to invent everything ourselves from the ground up every time. And by inventing everything from the ground up every time, you're doing something new, and if you're doing something new, you're invariably doing it wrong the first time around. And we're not a user interface company. We're a data company fundamentally. But we're not a user interface company, so we shouldn't be in the business of reinventing user experiences. But we didn't have the money to go about, or the time to go about redesigning it. And then towards the end of last year, December of last year, we raised €1.25 million off of venture and some private investment. And that gave us a bit of breathing room. And finally we could sit back and say, okay, we never liked this, let's go for something far, far more traditional that we can copy other people and get it right. And so at that point we kind of fell into a bit of a trap that just about every large organization does, is we try to get it right. We try to get it right. We try to mitigate the chances of failure by hiring experts in the field. We did usability testing. We got people in, asked them their impressions, and everyone hated this. Everyone hated it. The experts in the field of usability said it's too cluttered, there's too much information. No one intrinsically knows how it works because I've never seen anything like it. Users said they didn't like it. Really, the whole thing was down, and we went through a large process of redesign, and the whole thing took the best part of a month and a fair chunk of cash, and we came up with something that was far more ordinary, much more like a hotel booking site, in terms of that you had all of the search results on one page, and you click through to the next page, and you go forward and backwards. And the entrepreneurial roller coaster, when we were just before we pushed this out, I was there going, this is going to be great, this is going to be fantastic, we're going to increase conversion by X%, and we pushed it out, and it absolutely bombed. It was a disaster. It was a complete and utter disaster. Our bounce rate on the site went from, and bounce rate is when someone comes on your site and they so don't like it, they leave straight away. They don't even bother clicking on a link. They land on your site and go, oh, I don't want to be here, and go off. So our bounce rate went from 45% to 51%. That may not seem much, but that's huge. That's a massive increase. The page views, the number of pages that a person viewed on the site went down by 25%. And our conversion rate, and the conversion rate is, if you just take the number of people who land on your site, what percentage of those end up with you earning any money? Our conversion rate went from 7.2% down to 2.4%. It was killing our business. Literally, it had destroyed around 75% of our revenue. And we let it sit there for a week, and it killed 3/4 of our revenue that week, and then we pulled it and pulled it straight back. Now, I don't want this to be a talk about, one user interface versus another user interface. The point that I'm trying to make here is that you can take every precaution that you like about trying to get something right, but fundamentally, you can only mitigate the chances of failure by a small bit. You can never completely mitigate the chances of failure. And like I said, a lot of large companies or companies with resources make this mistake all the time. They hire the experts in the field, they get the top brains, they spend time planning. And I don't want to denigrate that, but when you're doing something brand new that no one has ever done before, it's my experience that you're far better off just getting your idea out there as quickly and as cheaply as possible. and then iterating from that point on. If the experts in the field are so expert, then there wouldn't be a new idea. The fact is that you're trying to do something different that the experts hadn't thought of before. And so what you're doing is unique. And all the lessons that have been learned in the past by other people, while it's important to respect them, don't necessarily apply to your situation. And it's my experience that you need to get that idea out as quickly and as cheaply as possible.